There is a paper sack sitting on my workbench right now, and there is not one word printed on it. Inside that sack is a plain white powder. It cost me about $1 a pound at the farm store in town. There is no giant velvet buck printed on the front, and no camo, and no trademark sign because nobody owns it. But one scoop of that powder, put down the way Dad's old hunting buddies put it down, did something behind my cabin last summer that the $30 bags from the sporting goods store have never once done for me. It pulled 11 different bucks past one trail camera in 6 weeks. 11 bucks, velvet racks and all, standing in the wide open at 7 in the evening in the middle of July, calm as dairy cattle. And the companies selling deer attractant would just as soon you never find out what that powder is, because it is sitting right there in the first spot on their own ingredient labels. Now stay with me to the end, friend, because I am also going to tell you why this powder quits pulling deer almost to the day the season opens. That is not bad luck, and it is not pressure. It is one specific thing that changes inside a deer's body when the food changes, and once you hear it, you will never hand over $30 for a shiny bag again. I'm Donna Larsen. I'm 52 years old. I live in the Northwoods of Wisconsin, and my dad Ray had me in a deer stand before I turned 8. I shot my first buck at 11 with his old lever action 30-30. And 44 seasons later, I run the same deer camp I grew up in. Most of what I know came from Ray and the old timers around that camp stove, and this salt trick came straight from them. So let's talk about what is actually inside those bags at the sporting goods store. Walk down that aisle in September and you will see a whole wall of deer attractant. Powders and blocks and crystals, every bag printed with a buck bigger than anything ever shot in your county. Some of it runs $15 a bag, and some of it runs $30 and up. Now flip one of those bags over and read the ingredient list. On nearly every one of them, the first ingredient is salt. Plain sodium chloride, the same white salt sitting at the farm store in a 50-pound bag for about the price of lunch. The apple smell and the fancy name are mostly there to catch the hunter, not the deer. Dad always said the deer don't care what you spent, and he never said a truer word. Now, before anybody runs to the farm store, hold your horses, because there are 2 things that decide whether this powder fills your camera card or earns you a citation, and we will get to both. And keep that first promise in your back pocket, because the reason this trick has an expiration date every fall is the part nobody at that store will ever explain. And it changes how you use it. Now, what I am showing you today is one trick out of 101 that I wrote down in a book called Donna's Whitetail Bible. It is 44 seasons of field-tested whitetail tricks, written for hunters who already do the basics right and still end up eating tag soup. It covers turning those midnight camera bucks into daylight shots, figuring out why a good stand went dead, hunting around other people's pressure, and which days of the rut are actually worth burning a vacation day on. All of it told plain, with no gear ads and no $400 gadgets, because the cheap way is usually the way that works. The book is $17 right now, marked down from $47, and that is less than 1 tank of gas to the lease for knowledge that does not wear out. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time, there is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. All right, friend, before you touch a single pound of salt, we handle the law first. Every state writes its own rules on bait and attractants, and I mean every single one. Some states let you put out salt year-round and hunt right over it. Some states let you run a mineral site through spring and summer, but make you clean it up weeks before the opener. right down to removing the dirt in a few places. And in a growing number of counties, especially where chronic wasting disease has shown up, salt and mineral sites are banned outright all year long because a whole herd swapping spit at one spot is exactly how that disease travels. So here is your first job before the farm store, before anything else. Look up this year's regulations for your own state. Or better yet, call your local game warden and ask him straight out. Wardens would rather answer that phone call than write you a ticket, and the fine for getting this wrong will buy an awful lot of salt. Where I sit in Wisconsin, the rules are tight, so at my place this is a spring and summer camera tool only, and every site is cleaned up long before I hang a stand. Whether a fella hunts over an attractant where it is legal is between him, his state, and his own idea of fair chase, and I will leave that right there. Now, the shopping list, and it is a short one. You want plain white salt. At the grocery store, the little round boxes run about $1 a piece, and that is the dollar powder from the title. No mystery to it. The smarter buy is the farm store, where a 50-pound bag of plain stock salt runs somewhere around $10, give or take a couple depending on where you live. If you want to spend $3 more, the reddish trace mineral bag adds a little extra for growing antlers and nursing does, and the old fellas argued both sides of that one around the stove for years. Skip anything apple flavored in a camo bag. Plain white salt is the engine and everything else is perfume. And while we are standing at the farm store, let me save you from the corn aisle too. Corn pulls deer where it is legal, I will not lie to you, but corn is a grocery bill. 50 pounds of corn disappears in 3 or 4 nights, half of it down the throats of raccoons, and a summer of feeding corn will quietly run you a few $100s. Salt is one trip. One 10-pound pour in May can still be working in August because you are not feeding the deer at all. You are salting the ground they stand on. Now for the part the bags never tell you, and this is where the old-timers earn their keep. Where you put it matters more than what you pour. A salt site out in the open gets visited at 2 in the morning and no other time, because the old bucks did not get old by standing in bean fields at supper time. You want it inside the cover, in the shade, 20 or 30 yards off a main trail, somewhere between where the deer bed and where they drink. 20 or 30 yards, friend, tucked back where the woods feel safe. Then you build it, and you do not just dump the salt on top of the ground. Scrape the leaves off a patch of dirt about the size of a trash can lid. Loosen the top few inches of soil with your boot heel or a stout stick. Pour half your salt onto that loose dirt. Mix it in the way you would fold flour into batter. Pour the rest on top and walk away. The first good rain pulls that salt down into the ground. And from then on, the deer are not licking a pile. They are eating the earth itself. That is why a proper lick gets deeper and wider every season, and why one of the licks at our camp has been getting hit since before I ran the place. Now maybe you have seen pictures of fellas pouring salt over an old stump, and that one is real too. Find a soft, rotten stump, the kind you can push a thumb into. Pour your 10 pounds right over the top of it. The rain drives the salt down through that punky wood, like water through a sponge, and the deer will chew that stump to splinters over a couple of seasons. Grandpa liked the stump trick because you can read it from 40 yards and see at a glance how hard it is getting worked. Either way, start with about 10 pounds. 10 pounds, one small sack, that is plenty. Add 5 more pounds about once a month through the summer, and let the rain do the rest. So that is the whole build. Cover, loose dirt, or a rotten stump, 10 pounds, and patience. Now here is where that dollar powder truly earns its keep, because the salt was never really about pulling deer to your gun. It is about pulling them past your camera. Hang a trail camera 10 or 15 feet back from the lick, about waist high on a tree. Face it north if you can, so the rising and setting sun does not white out your pictures. Then leave it alone. Check it once a month, in the middle of the day, wearing rubber boots, in and out like you left a pot boiling on the stove. By the end of July, you will have a full roll call of every buck living in that block of woods, velvet and all, with timestamps telling you exactly which ones walk in daylight and which ones are ghosts. That roll call is worth more than any gadget on the store wall. And remember, there is a reason this whole show shuts down come fall, and we are getting close to it now. Before the big why, 3 mistakes that kill most salt sites, and I have made every single one of them myself. Mistake number 1, putting it where you can see it from the truck. A lick you can watch from the road is a lick the whole county can watch, and the old bucks figured that out before you did. Tuck it in the cover even if it costs you a longer walk. Mistake number 2, pouring it on hard-packed ground and calling it done. Salt on top of hard ground washes sideways in the first storm and spreads too thin to matter. Loose dirt first, then salt, then rain, in that order. Mistake number 3, checking it every 3 days like a kid shaking presents in December. Every trip in leaves your scent on that ground, and a mature buck only needs 2 or 3 bad whiffs to go fully nocturnal on the spot. Once a month, friend? Once a month is plenty. Now, the promise from the start, the reason this powder pulls like gravity in June and then dies almost to the day in October, it all comes down to what a deer is eating and what that food does inside the animal. In spring and summer, a whitetail lives on young green plants, and that forage is loaded with 2 things, water and potassium. It carries almost no sodium at all. A deer's body has to keep sodium and potassium in balance the same as yours does. So all summer long, as that deer flushes out the extra water and the extra potassium, it drags its own sodium out right along with them. The animal runs up a salt debt that the food cannot pay back. The does are nursing fawns on top of it, and milk is expensive. The bucks are growing bone on their heads at the very same time, some of the fastest growing bone in the animal world. So in June, a whitetail craves salt about the way you crave a cold pickle after mowing in July heat, and it can smell your lick from a long way off. Then September comes. The green groceries dry up, the woods turn over to acorns and woody browse, and all that extra water and potassium drops out of the diet. The salt deck closes on its own, and the craving shuts off like somebody flipped a breaker in the basement. The deer did not leave your woods. Your camera already proved they live there. They just stopped needing what you were selling right about the time most states make you pull it anyway. The old-timers boiled it down to 4 words: spring salt, fall sign. So use this dollar powder for what it honestly is, a summer census machine that tells you which woods hold the bucks, and when October comes, go hunt the acorns, the scrapes, and the rut, because that is exactly where the velvet bucks from your camera roll will be standing. And that right there is the kind of thing Dad and the old-timers handed me for free. So I put 101 of them into the book so they do not die with the men who taught me. It is called Donna's Whitetail Bible, and turning that summer camera roll call into a filled tag in November is exactly what it is for. Even those midnight ghosts on your camera have their own trick in the book, laid out step by step. It is $17 today, marked down from $47, which is less than you will burn in gas scouting one single weekend, and it never runs out of batteries. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time. There is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. So there it is, friend. $1 worth of plain salt, put into loose dirt inside the cover, 10 pounds to start. Checked once a month with a camera doing all the real work. What's the one piece of gear you regret buying? Put it below, friend. We've all got one. I read every single one. Next time I am going to show you how to find the one oak tree that every deer in your woods has picked out of 100. Because there is always one, and the hunter who finds it first is the one dragging something heavy in November. Keep your wind right and your coffee hot, and I'll see you in the woods.